the root of all evil is money, and completely changed everything. Putting a barrier in between you and doing the task that needs to be done. My question to you is, so why, number one, why is the dealer paying so well, and why do they have so many openings?
Because they can't find people to do it.
It's not because there's so many cars, it's because people are leaving. Why are people leaving if they're paying so good? Because it's shit. It's like
they have to take a chance on a bunch of people they don't know, so they got to start them out high, and then 3 months later they figure out it's not working. They're gonna get rid of them, try to replace them, do it all over again.
Turnover rate, baby.
Turnover rate really high.
Turnover rate.
Okay, so if we got the money kind of thing down, the job itself, I see a lot of people down here. I mean, I don't want to say there's a lot of people yelling at the clouds, but there's a lot of people saying people don't want to do the work anymore.
Yeah, I'd agree with that to some extent. But I mean, hell, can you blame them?
Like the job itself, like people just don't want to get into.
I mean, I get it because I've seen a lot of people, but you're gonna find that everywhere you go. You go work in construction, you're gonna see people that are lazy. It's just the thing about this profession is if you're working on flat rate, you don't really have the option to be lazy if you want to consistently make money. You just cannot do it.
Yeah. So the job itself, though, in your opinion, do you think it's getting easier, harder?
Oh, extremely harder. Extremely harder. And that's coming from somebody that, like, I can tell you, 2015 to 2020 F-150s, F-250s, like, that is my bread and butter. Like, I know everything there is to know about them. I can tell you where every module is. I can tell you what the damn bolt sizes are. Like, I just know the trucks front to back. When they swapped up in 2021 on these 150s and completely changed everything, I still don't feel near as comfortable on the 21 up trucks as what I do on a 19 or 18 or 17. And that's a lot of that's just because I hadn't worked on a ton of them. But, I learned how to do something really well, and then it completely changes. Everything about it changes, and that's hard to swallow, and especially in a trade where I depend on me being efficient to make my money.
Yeah.
The ultimate goal is just make sure you're at the dealer. Yeah. Make sure you're not over here with
reselling
us.
parts.
Which, I mean, like I said, that's the big thing. A lot of people think that car manufacturers make all their money from selling cars when it's really the opposite. They make all their money from having so many cars in a fleet and selling parts for those cars for years and years and years and years and years. That's where they really make their money. So getting you back to the dealership is very important for them. That's a lot of the reason why we don't have transmission dipsticks anymore. That's why they've taken away engine oil dipsticks on some manufacturers done that. Anything they can do to put a barrier in between
brakes on a Mustang.
Bleeding brakes on a Mustang. Put a barrier in between you and doing the task that needs to be done. Yeah. They're trying to just force you into taking that back to the dealership. And it's sad for a lot of customers because they can't do stuff themselves. And it's even worse for independent shops, people that are trying to progress and work on these newer vehicles. But it's so bad. That's what me and him was just talking about yesterday, man. Like, I've just been going back over the last few weeks, and holy shit, at the stuff I've had to buy. Just like crazy stuff. I might not use it one time, but I need it right now. I got to have it, and
nothing you can do about it.
I guess that's the one thing I do miss about working for the dealer or somebody else is that was not on me. I did not have to provide special tooling and whatnot.
Yeah. Going into the next thing, the cost. I know you touched on a little bit as far as like the cost of being a mechanic, mostly related to tools, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's just one example of something I know I've had to buy. Those two sets of sockets have cost me hundreds of dollars in the last 2 or 3 years just because I've had to purchase them because they didn't want to put a 10 millimeter or a 13 millimeter on it. There's absolutely no reason for it, but it
or
is.
Or regular torques.
Yeah. It's part of the changing business, I guess.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's always something new.
Everything's changing.
Everything's changing, buddy.
Everything changes. Everything changes. All right. So, kind of like going over the money and the flat rate being kind of more of a turnover situation. The job itself, nobody's really wanting to get into it. The cost of buying your own equipment is constantly going up, especially when they come to your door and they selling it to you. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a pretty good racket.
Very good racket.
So where do you see 5 years from now? What do you think being a technician looks like?
Probably real similar to what it does now. I mean, I don't think it's going to change that much in the next 5 years, but I can definitely see where this is going. Everything, like these new cars are hooked up to the internet. If you know that, they're on the line. I can you're
on the line,
baby. A 2023, or I mean even older than that, they have telematics control units in them, and like I can tell you your freaking tire pressure from my laptop.
How much gas?
I can tell you how much gas is in it.
I can see that your truck has 0% oil life.
Yeah, well, not yours because yours doesn't have a TCU, but
no, mine's analog.
So yours wasn't far from having it.
Well, I mean, everything's hooked up electronically, so a lot of the fixes at the dealer or a lot of things are getting run back to Ford. You know, whereas Ford used to have to rely on, they didn't have the option to see what was going on with the vehicle. They had to rely on what the dealers were doing, what the techs were doing. Whereas now they have access all the time to every bit of information your vehicle can provide. I'm talking about everything from location, where you've been, how fast you went, how hard you hit the brakes. Dude, it's crazy. And every manufacturer's doing it. They're compiling all this data. And I'm telling you, over the course of the next 10 to 20 years, it's going to significantly change this industry, I think. The way the electronics are going and the fact that these manufacturers have the access to see all this information about the vehicle.
And the way that warranties are claimed, too.
Yeah. Is how do you fix this? How do you fix the shortage?
I mean,
I mean, I'm not the fixer. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know the answer, but I think a good start to it would be, I mean, just the overall treatment of technicians at dealerships is most of the time not great. And I think that if you gave them more recognition, this is something I've seen Ford really start hitting on over the last few years. They took away, so when I started at the dealer, man, there was like all these programs. They would take you on a damn cruise. Like after 5 years, like they would send you to.
I'd love to see Jake on a cruise. Get that 15 drink pass, boy.
Flip flops and the swim shorts.
I like Crocs. I don't like flip flops.
Yeah, so I mean, they had all these kind of programs. I mean, they would take you up to the plant after you done all this training. They tour you. I mean, they were just done a lot to make the technician feel recognized, appreciated.
Yeah.
And I seen all of those programs like completely fade out going into like 2018, 2019. Ford was doing well, but they were like pinching pennies, and it took them it did not take them very much time to realize this was a bad mistake. And I seen them start rolling out all kind of programs. Like when we left the dealer, we had the program for the Ford Reward Points.
Yeah.
So they would
give
like
Marlboro Miles.
Yeah, I mean this is like $3,000 a year they were paying me, for keeping up my training and just being an employee and keeping my certifications. And they would send that to me on a prepaid card. I mean, just programs like that where you make your technicians, you incentivize them to train themselves and do their job correctly. I think that's a good start. I just don't think it's done enough by manufacturers. I think Ford could do more. And I also really think a lot of dealerships could do more. The root of all evil is money. It's all about the money, baby.
I mean, improving warranty times would be a big thing.
Yeah, and I don't just mean like you said. I don't mean just on the clock, like getting paid 32 versus 25. I don't mean it like that. I mean actual money.
Yeah,
like
getting fairly
warranty
compensated
times,
for
getting
the job
compensated for what you do.
Yeah,
manufacturer. The problem is somebody's going to have to make companies like Ford change that because they're not going to voluntarily do it because it's going to cost them millions.